Hey guys, welcome into the second locker room episode of the semester. Joining me today and making their first appearances on the show are Alex Strouf and Michael Wengrzyn. Guys, how's it going?
It's going pretty well. Glad to be on the show for the first time.
How's your week going?
I think it's going pretty well. Looking forward to a great weekend.
What about you, Alex?
I'm happy to be here. I'm all fired up like a spider monkey. So let's get going. Let's talk some sports.
Well, that should be interesting. We've never had a spider monkey on the show. So to get things started, we'll talk Pointers football. The football team dropped their second WEAC game of the season, a 49-14 loss on the road to UW Oshkosh this past Saturday. The Pointers defense gave up a touchdown on the Titans' first play from scrimmage, a 64-yard pass, and then Oshkosh marched down the field on their next drive, which took 7 plays and 76 yards. The Pointers found themselves down 35-0 at half and didn't score until the fourth quarter when junior quarterback Cooper Kerner scored on a five-yard run to make it a 49-7 game. Jahi Stigl scored the Pointers' other touchdown on a 1-yard run with just under 4.5 minutes left in the game. The Pointers lost star freshman running back Zach Bozek for the season to a broken ankle. Guys, what can we take away from this game?
You know, I think obviously you mentioned the loss of Bozek. That's a huge loss for the Pointers. We were talking about it before the show. This kid's having a huge year so far. Potentially, like you said, a first-team all-conference selection if you would have been able to stay in the remainder of the season. But have no fear, the freshman ball carries are here. You mentioned Stigl. That kid looked good, the 50 yards on 4 carries and a touchdown last Saturday. And also Samaje Williams has been coming on strong. Hasn't been getting a bunch of playing time, but obviously with the loss of Bozek,
that'll definitely increase.
Absolutely.
I think injuries have also just killed this Pointers team overall. They lost Christian Almani at the beginning of the season. They lost Ryan Swigert against Adrian, and then now
that was huge.
That was huge. And now losing Zach Bozek against UW Oshkosh has really hurt this offense a lot more. And I think guys just need to step up more now as we get more into conference play, and things are going to pick up now more. These conference games are not very easy for the Pointers, and it doesn't look any easier for them down the stretch.
Yeah, I think as a coach, you never want a bunch of injuries to affect your team, but I guess the good thing about injuries, if you want to find something positive, is that you give these younger players a chance to learn more and play more, and that'll only benefit them as they progress through their time at school.
Absolutely, always that next man up mentality. We've seen that at every level, or high school all the way up through professional. So it'll be a nice test for, like you said, some of these younger guys for the Pointers.
The Pointers continue WEAC play this Saturday at home when UW Eau Claire comes to town. Kickoff is set for 1 p.m., and we will be broadcasting the game live. Guys, how important is it for the Pointers to get a win tomorrow, coming off 2 straight losses?
Oh, it's very important, especially now that we're in the midst of the conference games now throughout the season. They already lost to 2 conference rivals against La Crosse and Oshkosh, and now with Eau Claire coming up, and eventually, looking down the stretch, you got Platteville and Whitewater too, who are usually 2 very good and tough teams for the Pointers that play down the stretch. I don't think the Pointers should be taking Eau Claire lightly, because with the way that this Pointers team has looked throughout the past couple of games, and with now the injuries hurting their team, they should not take this game lightly. Although Eau Claire may not look like offensively
a powerhouse.
A powerhouse, exactly. Yeah. Offensively, they should not be taken lightly, and I think that the Pointers really need to step up and have guys, like you said, Alex, be ready to step up when the time comes and be ready to play exactly against a conference foe like Eau Claire.
Yeah, Michael said it. I mean, getting that first conference win is always something you want to get out of the way earlier. The Pointers haven't been able to do it through 2 games. Big game here. It's the homecoming game. A lot of people are going to be filling the stands. Going to be a high-intensity game. Going to be hard to win on the road for Eau Claire. I was able to watch Eau Claire play 2 weeks ago. I think the Pointers have the upper hand in this one, especially playing at home, like I said.
Yeah.
So very important to get on the W side of the conference column.
Yeah, definitely agree. We hope that they win. It'll be a funner game to broadcast, and can't wait. So switching up sports now, the Pointers women's volleyball team bounced back after their loss last Wednesday with a 2-win performance on Saturday during the Sandy Schumacher Memorial Tournament at UW Eau Claire. The Pointers swept their first match over Martin Luther College and then beat Augsburg in a 5-set match, 3 sets to 2. April Gale led the offense for the Pointers in their first match, finishing with 16 kills and 4 blocks, while Kelly Magliano chipped in 7 kills and 4 blocks. In the second match, Gale led the offense once again with 25 kills and 2 aces. Morgan Workus chipped in 16 kills along with 4 blocks. On Wednesday night, the Pointers beat Oshkosh in the Berg Gym on campus. Once again, April Gale led the way offensively for the Pointers, finishing with 21 kills. The Pointers wrap up their home portion of the WEAC schedule on Saturday when UW Eau Claire comes to town. Guys, the women's volleyball team struggled a couple weeks ago, and it looks like they've put it behind them, and they're rolling.
Oh, my God.
For sure.
Let's talk April Gell for a second. This girl,
She's good.
Only a sophomore. She's going bananas. I covered her senior year in high school. Hilbert, Wisconsin, representing Calumet County well. This girl is phenomenal on this volleyball court. UWL on Wednesday, 21 kills, 19 digs. That's her 9th double-double in 11 games.
I don't know much about volleyball, but that sounds pretty good.
It's good. Trust me, it's
Awesome.
good.
I'll take your word for it.
It's great to see someone like her as a sophomore stepping up now and taking control of this team. And with them putting behind the struggles that they had earlier in the season behind them, and now playing a lot better volleyball than I think we usually seen in the past couple of years for this Pointers women's volleyball team. I think we're possibly could see her with conference awards and honors at the end of the season as well.
How about the senior Morgan Workus as well? She's been having a tremendous year. A couple seniors having a tremendous year, but on Wednesday against UW, 18 digs, 11 kills for Workus.
Can this team make a deep postseason run?
I think so. 21-6 overall. I think
Their seeding should be pretty good if they make the tournament.
Right, exactly. I think this team has the potential to make a run, especially there's a sophomore playing well already. That's a good sign.
Yeah.
Should keep an eye on them in the future for sure.
Yeah, it'll be fun to watch. We're going to take our first commercial break, and then after that we'll be back to talk college and pro football.
Wengrzyn, the 7th largest book printer in North America, is hiring students for the semester. We are 100% employee-owned and located right here in Stevens Point, Wisconsin. All shifts currently hiring, with jobs starting at $10.80 an hour. Hours are flexible. For more information, contact the Wengrzyn HR department.
Welcome back, guys. The Badgers football team has scored more than 30 points in every game this season, and they moved to 5-0 on the season with the dominant 38-17 win over Nebraska on the road this past weekend. The Badgers defense got the scoring started in the first quarter when linebacker Chris Orr picked off a pass and returned it 78 yards for a touchdown on the Cornhuskers' first drive of the game. Freshman running back Jonathan Taylor continued to keep himself in the Heisman conversation with another big game, finishing with 249 yards and 2 touchdowns. Guys, has the start the Badgers are off to surprised you at all, Michael?
I think it hasn't really surprised me too much, but I am kind of surprised at how well this team is playing because of
especially defensively.
Especially defensive-wise. Yeah, they've lost some guys at the beginning of the season on the defensive side of the ball, but really this team is playing very well, almost better than last year's team. And last year's team had a tougher schedule to play, and this year it's a little bit easier for the Badgers, but no game ever on the Badgers schedule should be taken lightly. But really, I am surprised at how well this team is playing, and if they can keep up this momentum and how well they play throughout the rest of the season, it can be making a serious run towards the college football playoff in January.
I hope so. Alex?
Michael, I almost agree with you. I don't think the start was necessarily surprising, but I'm about to shock both of you. I don't think it's as good as it probably should be. The last 2 weeks, the rough first half against Nebraska, and then the week prior, only a 9-point victory over Northwestern.
That's
well,
true.
Northwestern always plays them tough.
They do, that's true. And I mean, it's a Big Ten game. Obviously, you're going to have some tough competition. However, we'll probably talk about it at some point. Do the Badgers have a legitimate shot at the playoff? I mean, if you want to make a run for this conversation, you got to be dominating teams like Nebraska and like Northwestern, especially that rough first half against Nebraska last week. Wasn't
second half definitely helped them.
Exactly.
They did.
Exactly.
Is Jonathan Taylor a legitimate Heisman candidate?
Oh, I think for sure, definitely. I mean, you take a look at some of the stats he's had and compared it to some of the other top running backs in college football. And for this guy, he's a freshman. Keep that in mind. Like, for a guy like Jonathan Taylor to be taking control of his Badgers offense and to be even considered in the talks of Heisman is unbelievable. Then again, the Badgers have had a great history of running backs being in the midst of like Heisman trophy voting and stuff like that. But although there is one thing though that probably would keep Jonathan Taylor from getting the Heisman, and is that he has no receiving yards at all whatsoever this season. There are some other running backs in college football that do have more receiving yards as well as many rushing yards as he does. But if that does hurt him in the future, I think that would be kind of disappointing to see. But overall, Jonathan Taylor has been a great player to watch this year for the Batters.
For sure. To answer your question, candidate, yes. Finalist, at this point, probably not. We have Saquon Barkley and Bryce Love, Penn State and Stanford running backs respectively, who are both definitely, if not the top two in the conversation for finalists right now. And then you have a couple of quarterbacks in the conversation, probably above Taylor. But Taylor, like he said, he's playing bananas. This guy's leading the Badgers offense thus far. He's been a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Just think if he starts getting those receiving yards.
Right.
Nice little swing passes out of the backfield. Woo! Well, the Badgers return home this Saturday to Camp Randall with a 2:30 kickoff for Purdue. As for the rest of college football, this is how the AP Top 25 shakes out. Alabama, Clemson, Penn State are 1 through 3. Georgia, Washington, TCU 3 through 6. Wisconsin, Washington State, Ohio State, and Auburn round out the top 10. Guys, do you think any teams either rank too high or too low? Alex?
The Badgers at 6 is interesting. And I want to stick regional because, I mean, some of those teams you could probably make the case for. Washington State's a really good team.
Yeah.
I think they're making one great case.
That win over USC definitely
exactly,
showed.
to be the, maybe not the powerhouse we're used to in the Clemsons, the Penn States, the Alabamas, but Wisconsin at 6, going back to my main point. That's going to be interesting. I don't know if they'll lose a game this year. Because, as Michael mentioned earlier, their schedule's not as hard as some prior years.
They do have Iowa at the end of the season.
Right, that's going to be a great game for sure. But Washington State and Wisconsin are the two teams I'm looking at either high or low. If Washington State goes undefeated, I really think they've made already through these first couple weeks their case for the playoff.
What do you think, Michael?
I'm still kind of not really sold out on Penn State. I mean, granted, they do have a good team and stuff like that, but they almost did lose to a tough Iowa team there a few weeks ago. Where
that was a great game.
Iowa heartbreakingly lost in the terrible fashion that they did. But the team is good, but I really think that that they are kind of ranked a little bit high. Like, I still think that that some of the teams up there are still a little bit better than Penn State. And I think even the Badgers probably could be the best team in the Big Ten this year too. And if the Badgers go to the Big Ten championship, and if it is a rematch against Penn State, I think the Badgers will definitely be hungry for revenge.
Yeah,
and
that'll
looking
be a
to
great
avenge
game.
last year's shocking and heartbreaking defeat too, because that was a very tough game to watch last year.
Yeah, it was. Everybody knows me. I'm a huge Badgers fan, and it helps a lot this year that they don't have to play Penn State and Ohio State and stuff. Yeah, they have to play Michigan and Iowa at the end of the season, but
Michigan is a home game this year too. That'll be even nicer.
And Michigan's been struggling this year.
Exactly.
If their quarterback Spate doesn't play, they generally lose. So we'll see how that shakes out. He's been injured, and then Iowa's always a tough game. They play Purdue this week, Maryland next week. They also have Illinois and Minnesota, so should shake out pretty well for the Badgers.
I would have to agree.
Well, on to the NFL now. Stop me if you heard this before. Aaron Rodgers led the Packers down the field to score a game-winning touchdown against the Cowboys in Dallas. No, we're not talking about last year's playoff game. Rodgers did it again on Sunday against the Cowboys in Big D. The Packers offense struggled in the first half, going into halftime down 21-12, and were down 21-15 as they went into the fourth quarter. The Cowboys drove down the field late in the fourth, and Dak Prescott scored on an 11-yard run with 1:18 left in the ballgame. But as Packers fans know, that was plenty of time for Rodgers. On the first play of the drive, he hit Davante Adams on a 14-yard pass to move the Packers to their own 39-yard line. The Packers continued to march down the field. On 3rd and 8, Rodgers scrambled for 18 yards and the first down. 2 plays later, he hit Davante Adams on a 12-yard touchdown to give the Packers a 35-31 lead, and that would be the final score as the Packers move on to 4-1 on the season. Guys, what were you thinking during the Packers' first drive? Were you like, Rodgers has got this, the Cowboys left too much time on the clock?
Before I jump into my reaction, I want to ask you about yours. You were there. You were in Dallas.
Yes, I was.
Talk to me about that.
Man,
You must have been going nuts.
That stadium's huge. It's loud. I think the highest was like 106 decibels. But during the Cowboys, the Packers drove down the field towards me where I was sitting. So I saw the Cowboys backs were to me during their last drive. When they scored, when Dak practically walked into the end zone, I was a little disappointed. But at the same time, I knew that we have Aaron Rodgers, and there was a good about a minute and a half left on the clock, and I wasn't worried with Aaron Rodgers. And then once he got that first pass to Devontae, then I believe Aaron Jones had a nice little 15-yard run.
Aaron
and
Jones
then
played really well.
Yeah, he played good, which we'll talk about which we'll talk about later. Then he hit Martellus Bennett down the sidelines. They took their timeout. Then Rodgers ran for that third down conversion, and then he hit. It was a great game. It really was.
It really was.
So let me walk you through my Sunday plans. Noon game was the Jacksonville and Pittsburgh. One of my best friends, a big Pittsburgh fan. We watched.
Did you get in a good nap?
I got in a good nap. He was very upset. Then we turned on the Packers game. So the entire fourth quarter, I was hearing it. He was chirping in my ear. I said, sit back. What was it? A minute 13 remaining when the Packers took over. I said, sit back, relax, and enjoy vintage Rodgers. Drive. Boom, Davante Adams. Touchdown, Packers win. That was fun to watch. It was exciting. I chirped right at him. I think I said a few expletives because I was so fired up. What a game.
It happens.
A drive. What a drive.
Michael?
As mentioned before, when the Dak scored that touchdown, the instant he scored, it's they left him too much time. They didn't learn anything from January.
Jerry Jones said they left too much time
exactly.
on the
It's
clock after the game.
you thought they would have learned from their defeat in January, the way how Rodgers drove down the field too. It's just they left him too much time. And I told the rest of you guys, Rodgers is gonna do his thing. Alex, you said the vintage Rodgers gonna come out. It was an amazing drive. It was just unbelievable. Rodgers even said he was thinking touchdown. He wasn't going to settle for a field goal. If he had, if he was going to take the opportunity, he was going to take the touchdown, go for the win. And that third and eight scramble from him was a thing of beauty.
Yeah.
I thought for sure he was going to go down, but Rodgers, he's quick on his feet when he's under pressure. He got 18 yards out of that big play, and then a couple plays later hit Davante Adams for the go-ahead touchdown and eventually the game winner. So I was just going nuts. Unbelievable game. I was very impressed by the way how the team played in the second half. And
Definitely, especially the offense.
And I think that this team going in next week into Minnesota, or this weekend into Minnesota, they should be able to carry the momentum after a big win like that.
I think probably the most important play of that fourth quarter drive was the first play, because I believe the Packers' kickoff return was a touchback, so they started at their 20. Not really where you want to be starting when you're trying to drive down the field and win. And Rodgers said after the game the most important play of that drive was that first play, that back shoulder throw to Devontae, which which gave them some breathing room offensively, which was nice to see.
Absolutely. I mean, starting at your own 25 after a touchback's never ideal. So.
Yeah. So what did this game prove to you about the Packers offense? They've been battling the injuries so far this season.
I said it before, I'll say it again, next man up mentality. Aaron Jones preached that on Sunday. Aaron Jones had quite the game.
For sure.
I hope
should he be starting running back? Even when Ty Montgomery comes back?
Let me quote God Aaron Rodgers when I say RELAX. Relax on Aaron Jones. The kid looked good, yes. But I don't know if we're ready to give him a starting role.
Well, looking at past games, where the Packers offense has struggled in the first half, against Atlanta, they really struggled a lot, due to injuries and stuff like that. And they came back a little bit there in the second half, but they ultimately couldn't complete anything. And then a game against Cincinnati, they were down 2 at halftime, but then in the second half, the offensive line picked up a little bit. Again, injuries have just been a huge part of this Packers team. And with the next guy up mentality, guys step up and take whatever role they can, whatever they need to do, they'll do it. And for them to come back and win in overtime, that was an exciting game. And then again, last Sunday against Dallas, down against the Cowboys at halftime, I wasn't too worried. I knew that this team could come back. I've seen it before, and I said this before again. It's just you just can never count out Aaron Rodgers at all whatsoever.
Absolutely.
The man is just unreal. He's probably not even human. There's probably something surgically put in his arm to make him make such beautiful throws.
So good. He's so good.
This Packers offense, I think, if it doesn't get well going, it'll pick up later on and ultimately probably get the team in a better position, especially for Rodgers to win the game.
Yeah, thank God Rodgers is on our team. Well, the Packers travel to Minnesota to take on the Vikings with a noon kickoff this Sunday. We're going to take another commercial break. When we get back, we'll get you ready for the NBA and NHL seasons.
How can you get involved with student media at UWSP? Connecting with your campus television station, SPTV, is easy. Like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Vine, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Pinterest. follow us on Instagram, or connect with us on Google+. But of course, the best way for you to get involved and stay up to date with all that is happening at our station is to stop by our studio. We're located in the Communication Arts Center at UWSP, Studio B, Room 121. You can also drop by our office, Room 130, for more information on station happenings. We can't wait to get you involved. Come join us at SPTV. Let's make media together.
Welcome back, guys. The NBA preseason is almost wrapped up, and that means it's time to answer some burning questions. Guys, Giannis will win MVP if...
Well, last season led the team in 5 categories. I think he's first or second player ever to do that. He needs to do that again. He needs to lead these Bucks, but they need to be better than they were last year. I think, what they end up? A 5 seed last year, a 6 seed?
Yeah.
They did.
They need to be a top 3 seed this year. Giannis needs to go harder than he went last year, which is going to be hard to do.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
He needs to go Russell Westbrook style, where he's averaging triple doubles. And for a guy like Giannis Antetokounmpo, that's not impossible.
Michael?
For Giannis to take control of this team last year was absolutely amazing. You know, first time that he was, the first Bucks player to actually start in an NBA All-Star game for so many years, and for him to take control of the team and to be now one of the better players now in the league is absolutely great to see. It's great to see for the Bucks to be on the up building and stuff like that. But for the most part, he needs some help too on the bench from other guys. With Jabari Parker coming back, though, I think it'll be a little bit different. Hopefully, he can stay healthy too this year.
Yeah, that's a big key.
If he has that help and he still takes control of this team, as Alex, you said, a little bit more now, you could possibly be looking at the Bucks as possibly a 3rd or 4th seed in the Eastern Conference playoffs as well. So look out for this team. Look out for Giannis, especially, as they call him the Greek Freak.
Ben, your answer.
Giannis will win MVP if the Bucks go deep into the playoffs. I'm talking Eastern Conference Finals deep, and if they make it to the finals, then he'll probably win MVP. But he's got to be better than what he was last year, and I'm not saying that in a negative tone, but
right.
If he is better than last season,
that's MVP.
Watch
caliber.
out. Watch
out. Absolutely.
All right, the Cavs won't make it to the finals if
the Cavs won't make it to the finals if injuries plague them as they had in years past. Like, for example, Derrick Rose has obviously been a huge injury-prone player in years past with the Bulls and players and teams like that. Dwayne Wade, signing him was big, but he's getting a little bit older now, so that's something to keep in mind. And Kevin Love also in the past has been kind of injury-prone as well. So really, LeBron can't carry this team. He can carry the team himself, but he's gonna need a little bit of help too. LeBron is definitely the top guy for the Cavs, right? For the Cavs, and with Kyrie gone, he's got to have some of these other guys step up too and be his number 2, number 3 guys. So really, it all comes down to depending on his starting depth. But the Cavs have a huge starting depth though, so really it all depends on how well they play in the playoffs as well and how they finish.
Michael, you said young guys. The Cavaliers don't have any young guys. The Cavaliers won't make the finals if the Boston Celtics live up to full potential. This team's...
Is LeBron's probably one of the youngest people on the team. I mean, they have Dwayne Wade, J.R. Smith, Richard Jefferson.
No, he's probably right in the middle of those. But yeah, you mentioned Richard Jefferson, Dwayne Wade.
I guess I remember that as guys in the prime of their career.
Right.
Yeah.
LeBron's still there, so...
Yeah.
Yep.
Who else? Isaiah Thomas is. He's in his prime. That's about it. Tristan Thompson, maybe.
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 I don't think the Cavs have a very. They have a shot, obviously, but they got to watch out for those Celtics in Boston.
All right. It's a good idea for the Cavs to be starting Dwayne Wade at shooting guard this year.
Yes.
Yes, I believe so too, especially with Isaiah Thomas's injury so far, and who knows when he'll be back.
Okay. The Warriors will lose in the Western Conference Finals too.
My Oklahoma City Thunder. Thunder up, baby.
I'm going to say the Thunder, too.
All right. Freezing cold takes. Take note of this. All right. On to the NHL now. The regular season has been in full swing for about a week. The Capitals lead the Metropolitan Division at 3-2. The Maple Leafs lead the Atlantic with a 3-0 record. The Blues lead the Central with the 4-0 record. And the Golden Knights lead the Pacific with a 3-0 record. Guys, which of these first-place teams has the best chance to sustain their hot start?
I've always liked the Capitals, especially, although in many years, or like for the past few years, like their postseason runs just always end in the second or first round. They just cannot. Alex Ovechkin has never been to a conference finals at all in his
Which
career.
is hard to believe.
It is hard to believe. He's one of the best players out there in the NHL that's still around and stuff like that. But probably I think the Capitals have the best chance to sustain their hot start. The Golden Knights have been a huge surprise, though, too, starting out 3-0. And it's given now the city of Vegas something to rally behind after the terrible events that happened out there in early October. So I think the Capitals have the best chance.
Absolutely. The Caps, you said 3-2. That's not necessarily the ideal start, but they are leading their division. Like you said, they're always good. They always make the playoffs. So I'm going to agree with the Caps. And I was just about to bring up the Golden Knights start. First expansion team in NHL history to start the season undefeated at 3-0. So that's pretty awesome to see.
All right, Stanley Cup predictions. Let's hear them. Alex?
Out of the West, give me the Edmonton Oilers.
Wow, bold prediction.
Out of the East, give me the Pittsburgh Penguins. And give me the reigning MVP, Connor McDavid, and the Edmonton Oilers to crush the three-peat.
That's very interesting.
Wow.
I'm going to have to say in the Eastern Conference, it's going to be Pittsburgh again. They're just too good of a team, and the way how they played in the postseason last year, coming back after a sloppy finish in the regular season. But in the West, I'm going to have to say the Anaheim Ducks, actually, because they're up on the uphill, and they lost to a very good Predators team last year in the Western Conference Finals. And they did, kind of beat the Oilers in a selfish way. I'm sorry to say that, but maybe, watch out for the Ducks and the Oilers this year, especially in the Pacific Division.
East, Penguins, no surprise. They're just too good to stop right now, I think. And for the West, I'm going to take my San Jose Sharks.
Your San Jose Sharks, huh?
Patrick Marleau's gone. First ballot Hall of Famer, no doubt. He's with the Maple Leafs now. They'll have to find some scoring, but with Martin Jones in between the pipes, everybody's seen what he's been able to do during his first 2 seasons starting. You still have Joe Thornton, Joe Pavelski, Tomas Hertl coming back if he stays healthy. It's going to be a fun team to watch. We're going to take our last commercial break, and then we'll be back to talk baseball playoffs, and we'll give you some of our bold predictions.
Don't have a television? Don't worry. SPTV is available on demand at uwsp.edu/SPTV. Find your favorite shows on our website, plus links to all of our YouTube content. Stay up to date with SPTV news that includes information about campus and community happenings. And don't forget to like us on Facebook. We're SPTV-UWSP Television. SPTV. Let's make media together.
Welcome back, guys. The League Championship Series is all set in the American and National League. American League, the Astros will take on the Yankees starting tonight, and the Dodgers will take on the Cubs starting tomorrow, Saturday night. Guys, what surprised you, if any, during the playoffs so far? Alex?
The Indians blew another lead, man. They were up 2-0 in the ALDS against the Yankees now. We were talking about it during prep before the show. The Yankees are a good team, don't get me wrong, but the Indians blowing another lead like they did in the World Series last year. A 2-0 lead in the ALDS is both hilarious and also surprising. I thought they wouldn't do it again.
The Indians were my pick this year to actually go to the World Series. So really, I was disappointed by how the way that this team fell apart in the postseason. Another postseason loss, another blown lead. So really, that was what surprised me, I think, the most.
Yeah, I think for me, it's a combination of the Indians losing and the Nationals too. I mean, I don't know what it is with DC sports. Other teams are great in the regular season. Come postseason, they fall on their face and can't get it done. So it is what it is, I guess. All right, who's going to make it to the World Series and who's going to win it all?
I think it'll be between the Astros and the Dodgers, actually. I think the Dodgers will beat the Cubs, and I think the Astros will win the World Series this year.
Make that too.
Dodgers, Yankees. As for who wins, oh, man. Whew. That's going to be tough. Oh, man. I'm going to say the Yankees. I don't know. Obviously, a lot of people don't like the Yankees, but I think they'll get it done, especially if Aaron Judge starts hitting. Watch out. All right, guys. Time for our last segment of the show. We'll give you some of our bold predictions in sports. Michael, your bold prediction.
I think the Badgers will make it to the college football playoff.
I love it. Alex?
Oh, boy. Give me Demarius Randall becoming the October NFC Defensive Player of the Month.
Wow. All right. Let's keep it moving now. We'll time to play around to buy or sell. Michael, you just talked about it, but the Badgers football team will make the college football playoff. Buy or sell?
Buy, for sure.
Absolutely a sell.
All right. Giannis will win NBA MVP.
Sell.
Fortunately, you have to sell that.
All right. The Pointers will beat Eau Claire tomorrow by at least 2 touchdowns.
Buy that, but also add a field goal too in there.
Add a field goal. Let's add 2 more touchdowns. Make that 4 touchdowns. Mark it.
I love it. All right,
Perfect.
guys, that's all we have for you today. I'd like to thank Alex and Michael for joining me today, and a big thank you to all our technical staff and all their hard work to make this possible. Be sure to check us out on Facebook at SPTV UWSP Television, or follow us on Twitter, SPTV_UWSP, and also visit the UWSP homepage to locate all your Pointers athletic information. And remember to tune in tomorrow for our live broadcast of Pointers football. We'll see you next time on The Locker Room.